What would you do if you had something and lost it, but it was something that was so important, something that you needed, for example, to do your job, that you could get in trouble for if you didn't have it? Something that was crucial in order to be able to finish a project. That happened to me this week. This is because He Remembers Me podcast episode number 28, and I'm going to share the story with you of what happened when I found myself in that situation. After looking for that item for probably like 20 minutes, I finally kneeled down and began to pray. And as I opened my eyes after that prayer, I could see the item. But I realized immediately that if I hadn't been kneeling in that position, facing that direction, I would not have been able to see the item. And it taught me about prayer. I love the idea that your perspective actually gets clearer as you pray. I think that it's not only the act of seeking for help, but there's also a physical act of humbling yourself and asking for help or acknowledging that you can't do everything, both in the physical act of kneeling as well as the emotional, mental act of asking. I wrote in my journal, I never see so clearly as when I am on my knees with my eyes closed. For it is there that I more fully recognize my own insignificance, contemplate His great magnificence, and hazard to fathom His vast love that fills the gap. But I also realize that sometimes prayer doesn't work that suddenly. In fact, most of the time, it does not work that suddenly. And I remembered a talk by Elder Richard G. Scott. I remember this talk, by the way, because I gave a talk on it as like a teenager. It's in like 2007. And he says, I wonder if we can ever really fathom the immense power of prayer until we encounter an overpowering, urgent problem and realize we are powerless to resolve it. Then we will turn to our Father in recognition of our total dependence on Him. As we pray, are we truly recognizing our total dependence on Him? And I can't speak for everybody else, but I don't know that every prayer is like that for me. But in this moment, when I realized that I was limited in my ability to find this item, I needed His help and that I was powerless to do anymore. And he goes on to say, I have discovered that sometimes what seems an impenetrable barrier to communication is a giant step to be taken in trust. So if you're trying to speak to Him, sometimes we have to trust first. Seldom will you receive an answer all at once. It will come a piece at a time, in packets, so that you will grow in capacity. As each piece is followed in faith, you will be led to other portions until you have the whole answer. That pattern requires you to exercise faith in our Father's capacity to respond. While sometimes it's very hard, it results in significant personal growth. I had to laugh because this is exactly the experience I had just tonight as I was trying to record this podcast. I wanted to articulate a few ideas, but I didn't know if I should make it into a reel on Instagram or if I should make it a podcast. I didn't know what quotes I should share. I didn't know how I wanted to develop the ideas. So I've actually recorded this several times. On top of that, each time I feel like I got a little piece, a little more, a little bit of clarity, a little bit of an answer. And in the past, I've been frustrated as I have had to continually re-record podcasts. But in this case, I came to see that that is a process of revelation and how beautiful that is. I saw the Lord's hand in my life today. And it was from the increased perspective that comes from prayer, from losing something and finding it, finding Him. I know that as you seek Him diligently, you will find Him. He promised that. I hope that you do take that opportunity to seek Him diligently and try to remember Him as you do, because He remembers you. Until next time, happy seeking.